Om. 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 Sahana bhavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone. Just to level set, sorry, last week I had to cancel the session. Very sorry for disappointing any of you. We are just to uh, set the context of what we are studying. We are studying the second chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, which is also called Sankhya Yoga. It's one of the largest chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. We have covered so far about 44 verses. From the 10th verse onwards, Sri Krishna starts teaching Arjuna. He begins with Sankhya Yoga, where he outlines the difference between Atman and Anatman, and tries to impress upon Arjuna that every individual is an Atman, and we should not confuse it with the body or the mind. And thereafter, now he gets into then, of course, he talks about the dharma of a kshatriya also. And then he gets into what's called buddhi yoga, which is what we are studying. So today we are going to look at the 45th verse. We will start. Incidentally, yesterday during the study cycle, the same verse was discussed by us. I think I had Swami has his own way of educating us. So we will start. त्रैगुण्य विषया वेद निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्तो निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान् त्रैगुण्य विषया वेद निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थो निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान् त्रैगुण्य विषया वेद निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थो निर्योगक्षेम atmavan. Let's look at some spelling or pronunciation aspects. Traigunya Vishaya. The sh is the cerebral sh. The tip of the tongue ideally should be pointing upwards. Veda. Nistraigunyo. No aspirated consonants or any difficult consonants. Bhavarjuna. The bha is aspirated. It's the fourth consonant in the per varga, per class of consonants. The next line, nirdvandvo, no aspirated consonant, nitya sattvastho. The tha at the end, stho is an aspirated consonant, the second letter in the the varga, third class of consonants. Niryoga kshema, again the ksha is a cerebral ksha, so the tongue should point, the tip of the tongue should point upwards. Atmaval. We will look at sandhi related aspects of the words. Traigunya Vishaya is actually has dropped the visarga because of sandhi. Traigunya Vishayaha. Then the same happens with the word Vedaha also. The Visarga gets dropped because of something. Veda. Again, the next one, Nistraigunya has become Yo at the end. Yaha has become Yo because Visarga sometimes becomes U during Sandhis, and when Ya plus U come together, it becomes Yo. Bhavarjuna is made up of two words, Bhava and Arjuna. Va and A together becomes a longer Va. Okay, Bhava. In the second line, Nirdvandvaha, the Visarga becomes U, and so Dvaha becomes Dvo. Okay, A plus U always becomes O. Same thing happens to the next word also. Nitya Sattvastha becomes Nitya Sattvastho. In the next word, Niryoga Kshemaha, the Visarga gets dropped because of again something. So you can see all of them, most of them are Visarga Sandhis here. We will look at the word-to-word meaning. Traigunya Vishaya. Trai means three. Gunya means qualities. So trigunas. Vishaya. Vishaya means Vishayam, subject also we can say. Worldly things also called Vishaya. So, it's some form of double meaning for that, I would say. There are subjects or topics in the Veda which are of three gunas. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Swami, in many discourses, I did not accept that here today. Swami says Vedas they cover three things: Bhoga, Tyaga, and Yoga. Bhoga, Tyaga, and Yoga. The Bhoga, which enjoyments or experiencing this world, also is covered by the Vedas. The Bhoga, which is all worldly related. So the Vishaya also talks about objects in this world, created world. Okay, so Vedas cover that as well. But Krishna is telling the Vedas are full of Traigunya. Then he is telling him Nistraigunya. That means the Ni at the beginning is removing the Traigunya. So that means a person who is without the three gunas, who has transcended the three gunas, is called Nistraigunya. Okay. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, Vedas are made of, they contain the three gunas. But you be, that is Bhava, he is telling Arjuna, you transcend the gunas, be without the gunas. So you can understand that the Vedas have all the three gunas and there's portion which is beyond the gunas also. So that means it has tamas, rajas, sattva, and something beyond. But so Krishna is telling him to become the Nistraigunya without the three gunas, or beyond three gunas. Then Krishna goes on to explain what is that state. Nirdvandvaha. Dvandva means a pair. Nirdvandva means don't be free from the pairs. So the pairs relate to pairs of opposite. In the world of duality, there's always a plus and a minus. So Krishna is saying go beyond duality. Nirdvandvaha. Then Nitya Sattva Stha. So he's telling to be established. Stha is to be established in Nitya Sattva. So there is regular, Trigunas includes Sattva also as a quality. But there's something called Nitya Sattva or Shuddha Sattva. That means God who is the purest of sattva. But one should be established in that eternal sattva, which does not change. So nitya sattvastha, such a person who is a trigunya, is nirdvandvaha, that's free from the dualities of the world, and he's also established in the nitya sattva, which is Brahman. Then he also says niryoga kshemaha. That means who is without, is free from even yoga and kshema of that yoga. He's not, about the worldly benefits also, he is free from that also. So such a person doesn't even worry about the world, day-to-day issues of the world. He also does not, because Swami gives the explanation of yoga as merging with the Lord also. He is not even worried about that. He's carefree person. A person who has transcended the Trigunya or Trigunas. He is Atmavan. Atmavan means one who is full of Atma. That means one who fully identifies with Atma. The later on, Swami is continuing, Sri Krishna is also talking, who is this person? Sita Prajna is something which we will continue in the second chapter. But here, Sri Krishna is introducing this. So someone who has gone through Buddhi Yoga will reach this state of transcending the three gunas, even though the Vedas contain the three gunas, and he'll become unaffected by the world, or totally without any care in this world. So we will just look at the summary. The subject matter of the Vedas is the three gunas. I think it's of the... O Arjuna, be one who is without the three gunas, free from the pairs of opposites, one who is ever established in Sattva Guna, one who is free from yoga and the protection of that yoga, one who fully identifies with the Atma. So that is what Sri Krishna is calling Arjuna to be. I think so you can imagine such a Arjuna who was crying from there, how fast Krishna is taking him to the state of, or pointing him out to the state of being free from all the gunas. Because Arjuna was crying, so he was in tamas. So Krishna had to wake him up, which he does earlier in the chapter 2. Then he takes him to the state of rajas. So he says, fight, you are a rakshatriya, you have to fight. Then he takes him to sattva, identifying with Atman. Then he also says you have to go beyond sattva also and fully established in the Suddha Sattva. So that's how this chapter actually covers the full gamut of spirituality. So let's look at, understand, what is this Veda? And so there were so many discourses, I had to search quite a bit, and I thought this may be expressing it well. So we will read this discourse. It's a long one, but nothing like reading Swami's words. The Vedas are referred to by several names. Of these, Adhyayana and Swadhyaya are two names, which we should understand well. Adhyayana also means practice. When we use this word, we have also to understand what it is that we practice. What we practice is Brahma Yajna. It has been said that Adhyayana begins with Brahma Yajna. In the context of our attempting to know the inner meaning of the word Adhyayana, we come to the conclusion that Veda and Brahman are one and the same because we utter them together. When we want to understand the meaning of the word Swadhyaya, many people regard this as representing one's own branch, taking the meaning of this word as Swa Shaka or one's own chosen special branch. They are misinterpreting the Veda. If we regard the Swadhyaya as Swa Shaka or a special branch of the Vedas, then we imply that the Vedas do not deal with other aspects. So I'll stop here. Swami has mentioned a few words which I thought it will be nice to explain. Swami says Adhyayana, that is a study, begins with Brahma Yajna. Generally, the Upadesha of Gayatri is called Brahma Yajna, one who is introduced into the study of the Vedas. So, Gayatri Upadesha is generally considered to be Brahma Yajna. That once that is done, the Adhyayana begins, the study of the Vedas begin. And then Swami also is talking about Swadhyaya. It's one of the word names given to Vedas. And generally, many people think Swadhyaya means studying your own Veda. Because in general, most Brahmanas are assigned to one Veda. So many people feel we have to just study our Veda. Generally, it's Rig or Yajus or Sama Veda, which each of them study. Swami says that is not correct. That interpretation is not correct. So that's how he's starting the discourse, at least starting this aspect of in this excerpt. We'll continue. Shaka means branch, just for your information. The word Swadhyaya has been given the meaning Swashaka, implying that the Veda has the form of Swashaka. If one wants to feel that one belongs to a particular branch or sect, Veda does not accept such an interpretation. Other scholars like Jaimini and Badarayana have interpreted the word by calling it Dharma Jijnasa and Brahma Jijnasa. That is the desire to learn the meaning of Dharma and of Brahma. Even if we want to go along with the meaning of Swashaka as one particular branch, it is the interpretation of these two rishis that after reading of Swashaka or one particular branch, one has to follow Dharma and Brahma. When we say that the knowledge of the Vedas or of Dharma and Brahma relate to all branches of knowledge, there's no meaning in regarding Veda as referring to one particular sect. Again, I will just explain a couple of words. For example, Jijnasa means the desire to know. Okay, Jijnasa means whoever desires to know what is any topic. So karma jijnasa means one who wants to study karma. Dharma jijnasa means one who desires to study dharma. Brahma means one who desires to study Brahman. So all these are possible through the Vedas. But Swami says when we narrow it down to one known sect, one piece of Veda, it is not proper. That's the explanation of Swami. Because there's narrowing of your focus. Many people have argued on this point as well and said that this cannot be referred to as one branch or Swashakadhyayana. Swashakadhyayana means studying of one's own branch of Vedas. We must understand the inner meaning of this word Swa, which has been given in Amnaya, which tells us about the word Swa and its intimate relationship with Atma. In our daily life, we are using the words Swa and Bhava combined as one word, Swabhava. In common parlance, we interpret the word Swabhava as the natural condition of man. This is not correct. And the word swa relates to Atma. All ideas emanating from one's own mind cannot be described as Swabhava. There's another word, Swa Icha or Swecha, in which this Swa comes. This word does not mean that we can move about in an uncontrolled manner. Swecha can be described as the desire which comes from the depths of one's hearts or the seat of Atma. So, as you can see, Swami is clarifying the way we should understand words which we use in daily parlance, where we use Swabhava, where we think that Swa is ourself, which is our body. Swami says, no, it is our Atman that we are referring to. Same with Swecha. Swecha means we behave as we like. It's not the likes of the uh, body or the mind. It should be the body. It's the desire of the Atman. It's the way or the will of the Atman, as Swami is pointing out. Today, we neither recognize the correct meaning of Swabhava, nor do we recognize the correct meaning of the word Swecha. We also do not conduct ourselves on right lines. In these two words, Swa has to be taken to imply something which relates to the Atma or Brahman. In all aspects of Veda, this should be the correct interpretation. Several rishis have described how we should understand the meaning of the word Swa in the two places, Swashaka and Swecha. They have inquired into and provided an answer as to which people can read the Vedas with reference to Swashaka and Swadhyaya. When we are on the Swadhyaya, we must understand the Vedas with special reference to Mimamsa. We will take the first injunction, Athato Dharma Jijnasa. Swami, as you introduced the word Mimamsa, so people may ask, in the Indian tradition, there are 6 schools of philosophies. And Mimamsa is one way of interpreting or understanding the Vedas. And they are the last two in the 6 schools of philosophies. So the Mimamsa has Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. Purva means earlier Mimamsa. Uttara Mimamsa means later Mimamsa. The previous Mimamsa, or the interpretation of Vedas, relates to karma. So it's also called Karma Mimamsa. Whereas the second part is Jnana, which covers Upanishads. So Swami is introducing the word Mimamsa. So that's why Swami, we will take the first injunction, Athato Dharma Jijnasa. So hereafter we will study Dharma. That's the way it starts, the study of Dharma. We have to first understand the details of the methodology and duties which go with the word Dharma. It becomes clear that the aspect which envelops everything or that which we see all around us is Dharma. Before Dharma Jijnasa and Brahma Jijnasa, we must recognize the need for Karma Jijnasa. Only when we understand Karma Jijnasa or the knowledge relating to karma can we understand Dharma Jijnasa. Only after that can we understand Brahma Jijnasa or the knowledge of Brahman. The relationship between karma, dharma, and Brahma can be best explained by using an example with which we are familiar in our daily life. When we do a particular type of cooking and then undertake to eat the food, we should remember that bringing together the things that we need, namely various ingredients like the fire, the vessel, etc., constitutes a primary process. The fire that is necessary for the cooking and the vessel and the various ingredients form part and parcel of the word of the karma. So anyone who is cooking will know that they are engaged in karma, preparing to cook. Once we have brought all these together, we undertake to do the cooking. The act of cooking is the karma or work. After having made all the preparations, eating the cooked food is like dharma jijnasa. If we then try to find the merits and demerits, such as shortage of salt, sugar, pepper, etc., in the cooked food, that is Brahma Jijnasa. If we want to compare these with different stages in another analogy, our being born is itself Karma Jijnasa. After being born, realizing the details of life and doing the duties that are appropriate to the time and circumstances is Dharma Jijnasa. After fulfilling such duties, the realization of the fact that merely fulfilling such duties give no ananda, or the realization that there is no ananda in Dharma Jijnasa alone, is Brahma Jijnasa. Uh, so Swami is giving various examples. See, we should understand the word Buddhi Yoga is used. Is it a separate path of yoga, path, margam? It is not. So it's all extension of this Buddhi Yoga. So whatever sadhana we are doing, we should apply Buddhi properly, which will take us to a state of yoga. Transform whatever we are doing into yoga, which is merged with God. So Buddhi Yoga is an ingredient in every path. So I will let's move on with this. If one is not born at all, there is no possibility of performing one's duty. And unless you perform the duties, there's no possibility of realizing that there's no ananda in performing these duties. In other words, from the karma of birth follows the doing of dharma, and from doing dharma follows the realization of lack of ananda, and therefrom follows Brahma Jijnasa. The connection between birth or karma, dharma, and Brahma is very close, and one must follow the other. If we take another analogy, karma occupies the very first step of pollinated flower. Slowly, and as time goes on, the petals drop out, and what is left is the bud of the fruit. When these petals drop out and we do what we have to do to the bud, it develops into a fruit. When we taste the unripe fruit, we realize that there is no sweetness in such a fruit. And we keep doing what has to be done until the unripe fruit becomes ripe and sweet. Thus, gradually, sweetness replaces the sourness. In this whole process, the flower, the unripe fruit, and the fruit are all transformations of one and the same, and they are not essentially different. In the same manner, karma, dharma, and Brahma are simply three different aspects of the same Brahma. In the two early stages of karma and dharma, there may be some difficulty. But in the third stage of Brahma, there's no difficulty. And one is full of ananda or bliss. But whatever path one follows, the goal which one reaches is the same. There are four purusharthas, goals of life, namely dharma, artha, wealth and prosperity, kama, desire, and moksha, liberation. For kama and artha, we have dharma and moksha on either side. We should try to regroup the four into two groups. If we take these four and treat them as four separate entities, we will not get any benefit out of our actions. If we can combine dharma with artha and kama with moksha, then we realize that we will have to acquire wealth for the sake of dharma, and we must turn all our desires to acquire moksha. Wealth is not permanent, and karma is something which wavers. Wealth and lust are things which are impermanent and keep on changing. It is not possible that man can become happy by possession of these two things. The reason for this is that they are unsteady and impermanent, and such things cannot give happiness to man. When these impermanent things, wealth and lust, are combined with permanent things like dharma and moksha, they also acquire such sanctity and become somewhat true and permanent. If wealth is combined with a permanent truth like dharma, and similarly lust, which is wavering type, is combined with permanent moksha, then we'll be able to acquire ananda in the aspect of Brahman. Our purpose should be to combine the impermanent things with the permanent things of life. We strive to move on from the minutest aspect to one of infinity. When we have to drop water, we have a drop of water in our hand, it'll appear to us only like a small drop. When we take this drop of water and merge it with the infinite ocean, the drop also takes the form of the infinite ocean. Moksha is an endless and infinite thing, and dharma is equally limitless. This section of this water and ocean will come in the next verse. We are going to look at it, but we'll continue. Our purpose should be to take all our temporary desires and have several limitations, and merge them with more permanent things like dharma and moksha. I will read it again. Our purpose should be to take all our temporary desires, which have several limitations, and merge them with more permanent things like dharma and moksha. The word moksha does not represent something which is exhaustible and which you can purchase from a shop. Moksha is regarded as a limitless entity. So long as there is attachment in you, the world will appear permanent. On the lotus of your heart, this attachment always moves like mercury. This kind of mercurial lust, which is continuously moving from place to place, should be removed. And this process of moha kshaya, attrition of attachment, is moksha. Once this attachment goes, what remains is simply ananda. To convert our lives to some extent in this manner is the path of Brahman. Once we make a proper inquiry and understand this aspect of Brahman, we realize that Brahman is latent in karma. Karma or work is latent in dharma, and dharma is latent in Brahman as well. One's own self is the aspect of Brahman, and to recognize this aspect of Brahman in everyone is the state of bliss which we should seek. One who is in the path of karma will be thinking, I am in the light. One who is following the path of dharma will be thinking, the light is in me. The one who has moved on to the aspect of Brahman and learned to experience Brahman in everything will say, I am the light. Thus, I am the light is the aspect of Brahman, while I am in the light is the aspect of karma, and the light is in me is the aspect of dharma. So long as you say I am in the light, you are not an independent person, but you are dependent. To say that you are in the light is to imply that you are dependent on the light. If we state that this cloth is in my hand, we imply that the hand is in control of the cloth. The cloth is not an independent entity. When you say that the light is in you, you control the light. This implies that there is something which is being controlled and someone who controls. And therefore, a dual aspect is introduced by implication. Here we have two things. One is the nature, and the other one is following the injunction laid down by nature. That is why we say athato dharma jijnasa. It is only when there is prakriti or the world around you that you require a code of dharma to follow. In this context, if you came to the conclusion that those who are in the family living as a part thereof do not have the right to follow the path of Brahman, it is not the right idea. There is a good example for this in the Ramayana. The family is like a chariot. Husband and wife are the horses. Dharma is the charioteer. Family or the bundle of worldly desires is the path, and moksha is the goal. Thus, the horses, namely the husband and wife, can lead the chariot of life to moksha if they follow the path of dharma. It is not right and it is weakness to think that only yogis, jnanis, and rishis are entitled to moksha. The destination is available for everyone, whether one is a brahmachari or a vanaprastha or a sannyasi. The destination is the same for all of them. From one point of view, what we see in our daily life, the four states, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi may be different. But in the aspect of Brahman, they are one and the same. The four have taken the paths arthi, artharthi, jijnasu, and jnana. And by journeying on these four different paths, they all reach the same goal. When one aspires to reach the right destination, God is always ready to respond to everyone with the same attitude. He is even prepared to lead them to the destination. God does not have different thoughts or opinions about different people. Such differences arise only from different ideas which we have. It is wrong to attribute differences to God. There's a small story for this. Once, one rich businessman was conducting his business. He had four wives. The first one was continuously ill and suffering from some disease or other. The second wife was given to worldly pleasures. The third wife was always pursuing a spiritual path and was wanting to meet learned persons and learn about religious aspects. The fourth wife was very healthy but was not given to worldly pleasures and had no desires of any kind. She had only one thought, and that was to become one with the divine. The businessman went to a foreign land and wrote to the four wives just before coming back, asked them what they wanted to be brought. The first wife replied that she wanted a special kind of medicine for her illness. The second wife asked for special gifts like saris and jewels, etc. The third wife asked for religious books of the foreign land. She also asked him to search for information given by learned scholars concerning the aspect of Brahman. The fourth wife had nothing to ask except the safe return of her husband. As soon as he gave all the things which he had brought with him from the foreign land to the respective wives, he himself went to the house of the fourth wife. The other wives grew jealous and asked him why he was spending all the time with the fourth wife, especially after being absent from the house for such a long time. He replied that he had given each wife what she had asked for, and as the fourth wife asked for him, he had gone to her house. In the same manner, Brahman is the master of Arthi, Artharthi, Jnani, and Jijnasu, and gives each one what he asks for. Brahman will give bodily comforts to one who is an Arthi. For one who is a Jnani, Brahman will tell him about the paths of journey to the state of bliss or wisdom. For the Jijnasu, he gives himself as that is what he desires. Differences may exist in the method of our asking and what we ask for, but there is no difference in the aspect of Brahman. Changes that come about in your prayer and in the manner of your prayer have their origin in you. Those changes do not belong to Brahman. It is in this context that we come across the statement Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. The thoughts will determine the action. So I thought it's a very long, lengthy discourse excerpt, but because there may be some confusion. So Swami is saying the Vedas have the three gunas, and it's also beyond the gunas. So he's telling Arjuna, don't go after the Vedas of the three gunas. Go to the state where of the jnani. Because Arthi, Artharthi, Jijnasu have three gunas. Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. But Jnani, who is completely identifies with Brahman, he becomes Brahman himself. That is the state to which Sri Krishna is asking Arjuna to go to. So We'll go to the next verse. That's also nice, sort of connect. Yes, sister. Yes, sister. You have to unmute and speak.
The first part that you have started where you said about the how the Krishna is saying to transcend all three gunas, and there is something about the protection dharma. What is that really meant by that? I'm just sorry,
Protection of Dharma.
backtracking to that. Yes, I'm just thinking about it, but I couldn't. The first where the slide says, transcends all three gunas.
Oh, is it in
The,
the
the,
discourse or
the
the?
summary of that
Okay,
verse.
sister. Okay, okay, okay.
Summary of the verse. Yes.
Okay. See, so that protection and of that yoga is yoga kshema.
One
So
who is
there
free
is
from
so
yoga. So,
see niryoga kshema.
yes.
Okay. So the thing is, one who has become Brahman is not worried about any yoga or kshema also. So until you merge with the Brahman, you are worried about I see Krishna is telling in later on, Sarvadharma, he's saying if you sorry, Ananya Sintayanto Imam, Yechana Paripasate, Tesham Nitya Uttabi, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. So when we surrender, the Lord will look after our yoga kshema. Kshema is the welfare. I've used the word protection because the yoga's kshema is means the protection or the welfare of the yoga is important for a sadhaka. But a person who has fully become Atman, he is free from even that. Okay, so he's telling the jnani is not worried about what is I have to do this yoga or anything like that because he has merged in that state. So, for example, if you look at the three vibes, four vibes, the third vibe wants to study. She wants to read and study what is, how do I merge with God, which is called the Brahma Jignasa. See, Karma Jignasa means who wants to know about work, how to do the right seva and do the seva. Okay. Artharthi means he performs so that he will earn wealth. The third one wants to do the right thing. What does God want me to do? Because, so that I don't make any mistakes. So my sadhana is protected. All that will be in the third one who is the Brahma Jignasa. But the Jnani has become one. So he has gone beyond everything. So that is what Niryoga Kshema. He will not even worry about merging moksha because he's already in moksha. Once you have gone to the shore, you don't worry about anything. So it's another analogy. You are going to cross the river. You get into a boat. Once you reach the other shore, you don't need the boat. The boat is the one which takes you across safely, protecting you so that you don't fall into the river. But once you go to the other shore, even that is not there. You don't worry about which sadhana you have to do, how. No such worries exist for a person who has become Atmavan, who has become Atman himself, which is the state which Krishna is asking Arjuna to go to, which Swami in this discourse is Brahma with Brahma Iva Bhavati. That means one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. So Vedas actually are useful until you know the Brahman. But once you know the Brahman, you don't need the Vedas also.
Okay, okay.
You
Got the message.
become
Thank
the
you.
Brahman. Okay. You become Veda yourself. Okay. So see, Arjuna is Krishna is saying, no, that is your ultimate goal. You need to become that one day. So the same thing Swami is telling us also. We can, Arti means we have all these troubles, Swami save us, we can't bear it. That is Arti. Or we don't have money, Swami, I want this position or, wealth. Arthati. Jignasa means, okay, we are going to sit and study, do study circle. His Jignasa stage. But all this is only to reach the final stage of becoming divine. But once you become divine, all these three are not needed. Okay, the three gunas are also needed, but we should not stop there. We should know it's the goal is going beyond them also, which is what this verse says. So then we should not say, oh, Swami doesn't want us to read Vedas, we will go, we have Nistraigunya. But the rest of our life is full of the world. Shouldn't be like that. So I
Right.
just thought, yes, Kalyani, please go ahead.
Sorry, Uncle, just a couple of quick questions. Nitya Sattva is Brahman, basically, or
Yes. So Shuddha Sattva is, the thing is, the worldly Sattva can change. It is not permanent. In the world also we have Sattva Guna. It can change. But we should know that Sattva which does not change, which is Nitya Sattva, which is Sat Chitana Ananda. So there is slight distinction. But the worldly Sattva will prepare us to go to that permanent Sattva. That's what I understand. Okay, I hope that answers.
thank
Yes,
you.
Sai Satish.
Sai Ramana, in that summary slide,
Yes.
for the meaning, it was written as established in Sattva Guna. Should it be
Permanent
established
Sattva
in
Guna.
pure Sattva?
Ever established in Sattva. That's the way I will use Nitya, or you can eternal, ever established in eternal, I will put something like that. So the thing is, in the worldly three, when there are three gunas, even though we have sattva, sometimes we slip down to rajas or tamas. I think that's the way I understand. And the sattva guna, see, Swami would say we have to cultivate divine qualities. That's ultimately when we become totally divine, the same divine qualities become permanent. But I don't know, you're suggesting some slight summary. What you want to say is,
Yes, and I
please.
was just asking because it is Nirtraigunyo Bhava, because again, then it Sattva Guna will, because again it becomes Guna there. So eternal Sattva was
Okay,
what I was.
fine. Thank you very much for correction. It is not a guna. Okay, it's not. Thank you. Thanks for the correction, Sai Satish. So
Is
once
it
you put
kind
guna, then people will think it's goes beyond the gunas. Thank you very much. See, it's very difficult to translate something, and sometimes we do in a hurry. Thank you very much for pointing it out. Sairam Kalyani, please go ahead.
There is a line in the discourse where it says Swa, which has been given in Amnaya. Can you just explain the Amnaya part?
So Amnaya is also another word for Vedas, but I think it also certain commentaries on the Vedas also Amnaya.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to do a bit more research. I will let me do some more research and give exact place where Swami mentioned so much. It's each one, if you have to go and study, it takes so much time. I will get back.
No
Uh,
problem.
See, for example, Amnaya Pithas means all the Pithas established by Shankaracharya is also called Amnaya Pithas. So they are they are studied, and there are how people have studied and commented on it also is Amnaya. I will come back to that. Okay.
Oh, no problem, Uncle. And how can a brahmachari, Swami's comparing them to an arti?
Uh, Swami, see, Brahmacharya is always, even for food, he has to go and beg.
Okay.
Okay. Real brahmachari is someone who, for food, he has to beg. He's studying. So that means he's not working and earning any money. Okay. So I hope that answers. So you see, in life, in the young stages, you are dependent on everyone as a child. The parents have to give money. So that means, oh, I don't have money, you have to go and ask. So Arti prepares you for that. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Uncle. And the last slide of the discourse, I'm not sure if maybe is it a error in the English translation? But Swami's saying for the jignasu he gives himself, or should it be for the jnani?
Yeah, so yeah, I know it should be the other way around.
Okay.
I realize it, but that's the way it is. I tried to find there is no audio, so I've just left it as is.
Yeah.
Jignasu becomes jnani at some point in time.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I also saw that, but I did not want to change unless I can get the Telugu or the audio.
Right.
I
Okay.
couldn't do that. Yes, you are right.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Sister Sumati.
Sai Ram brother. So beyond these three gunas, it's called Gunatita, right? Gunatita. That's the fourth one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So which one comes first? The state of Gunatit comes first, or the liberation comes first? What is the order of it?
Gunatita is liberated, sister. That's the end.
Liberation is first, and then Gunatit comes.
No. One, you can,
and then
unless you attain liberation, you are not a Gunatita.
cannot. Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
that's my
thank you.
understanding. Yes, that's my understanding. So I will leave it at that. So when does the fruit becomes fruit is a question. When it loses all its sourness, it is fruit. So did it lose its sourness and became fruit, or when it became fruit, it lost its sourness? So it's very difficult to say which happened.
Thank you, brother.
I have another verse. I hope you all are okay. Means we'll go through that. We have time sometime. Yavan artha udapani sarvatah sampledodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. Yavan artha udapani sarvatah samplitodake तावान सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. Spelling or pronunciation aspect, yavan artha, this tha is aspirated. Udapane sarvata samplitodake, there is no aspirated consonant. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu, in both of them, the shu is cerebral sh. Brahmanasya vijanataha, there are no aspirated consonants. Let's look at sandhi related changes. Yavan and artha becomes yavan artha. In and becomes na. Again, the visarga and the artha also gets dropped because of sandhi, because it's followed by u. Udapane sarvataha there are no changes related to sandhi. Samplita udake, the tha plus u becomes to. Samplitodake. In the second line, tavan sarveshu vedeshu, there are no sandhi related changes in the second line. We'll go to word meaning. Yavan, to which extent? The extent to which, okay, about something. Artha means use, wealth, and also meaning. There are three meanings for the word artha. Whether it's purushartha, artharthi, all of them. Udapane. Oh, I see. I think I should say pond. I should put. Okay. Udapane means a small pond, in that pond or in a small pond. Sarvatah. Sarvatah means from every side or everywhere. Samplita means flooding. Okay. Udake. Udaka means water. Udake means in the water. It's a seventh vibhakti. Just like Udapana and Udapani. So it's a comparison between a small pond and floods everywhere. Okay. We'll finish and go through the rest of the words and come back to summary. Tavan, to that extent. Sarveshu means in all Vedeshu. Sarveshu Vedeshu means all the Vedas. The shu is actually seventh vibhakti. It's an adjective of Sarveshu, is an adjective of Vedeshu. In all the Vedas, I think that's the way we should take the whole thing. Brahmanasya. Brahmanasya means of the Brahmana. Means for a person who is that person? Vijanatah means one who knows, who has gone beyond knowledge also, who is full knowledge, one who knows the self of Brahman. So what Krishna is telling is the comparison between a small pond and a flood of water is the extent of use or meaning of all the Vedas for a person who has known the self. That means the jnani is like a flood. For him, the Vedas is like a small pond. For a jnani who has attained the Brahman state, the Vedas themselves like a small pond. So what he's telling is don't stay in the pond. Don't be a frog in the well. Go to the ocean. Because what happens, one frog in the well will say, my well is the biggest. But once you go to the ocean, everything becomes nothing. So again, is impressing on that. So when you go to that state of Nistraigunya, you have become a flood or, water everywhere. But if you are in the guna-based Vedas, it's all small ponds. That's a sense. And we'll just summarize. In all the Veda, I think I should. The use or meaning is that of a small pond when there is flood everywhere. For the Brahmana who knows the self. Okay, all these Vedas is like a small pond. There are many places Swami has told, the extent or to which the vessel which we take to the ocean will determine the amount of water which we collect. But the ocean is ocean. Enta matramu evaru talachina, that's also another song which Swami sings of Annamacharya, where, what you think, that much only God becomes for you also. So one who has understood the full self, everything in this world, all Vedas, is like a small pond. We will read the excerpt which I have. This land gave birth to Bali, Vamana, and it was where Vishwamitra performed intense penance, revealed the sacred Gayatri mantra, which is prefixed with the three-syllable Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. Bhur represents materialization, Bhuva, vibration, Swaha, radiation. The universe is entirely constituted out of these three components. Radiation is divinity, vibration is the principle, and the materialization is the body. All these three are in you. You are not one, but three. Namely, the one you think you are, the body, the others think you are, mental, and the one who you really are, the Atma. Only when you recognize these realities, you achieve your humanness. Do not get too much attached to your body. So long as you are alive, you must keep your body in healthy condition. For Karma Yoga, body is the basis. For meditation and worship, the mind is the basis. For realization, heart is the basis. You must recognize the unity of all these three. There are several threefold unities which can be recognized. For example, Trigunam, Trigunakaram, Trinetram cha Triyayudham, Trijanma Papa Samharam, Ekabilvam Shivarpanam. What is the proper offering to God? It is said, Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. A leaf, a flower, a fruit, and water. What are these? Your body is the leaf. Your heart is the flower. Your mind is the fruit. Your tears of bliss are the water. Instead of attaching undue importance to this ephemeral body, emphasize on the Atma Tattva, Atmic principle. The body is also to be surrendered unto God. How? By acts of worship and other sacred deeds. Embodiments of love. It is not necessary to go in search of temples and shrines for worship. Your body itself is a temple. Deho devalaya prokto jivo deva sanatana. Body is the temple and the indweller is the eternal God. God is not to be found in the temple or in a place. Find him in your heart. All of you are embodiments of divinity. As the Rig Veda says, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapa. With 1,000 heads, thousands of feet, thousands of eyes, divinity pervades everywhere. Keep this thought in your mind. I am not a mere man. I am the embodiment of God. Keep this conviction firm in your mind and you will realize this truth. As it is said, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes verily Brahman. If you perceive yourself as divine, you become divine. If you consider yourself as human, you will remain so. While your form is that of a human being, there is the Atmic principle in you. To recognize this Atman, you have to keep your heart pure and empty. To purify our hearts, we celebrate these festivals. The main aim of these festivities is the purification of the mind. Where there is unity is very important for humanity. Perform your daily duties in the light of the principle of love. Embodiments of love. These days, there are many impediments in the path of spirituality. But these are temporary and surmountable. Man's mind is by nature wavering and the world adds opportunities to enhance this. Focus your mind on one goal and do not allow it to waver. You have to hold on to it till the very end. Such fixity of aim is not common these days. What is the reason? There's a host of so-called spiritual guides with various names of Matajis, Swamijis, and Babajis. Because of this, man's mind gets confused. There's only one divinity. Stick to any one God of your choice and hold firm to it. Unnecessarily do not go around to various places, confuse yourself and ruin your faith. If you keep transplanting a sapling from one place to another frequently, how can it grow healthily into a tree? You have to plant it in one place and feed it with fertilizer and water regularly until it grows into a firm, strong tree. This is true devotion. If you keep changing your spiritual guide frequently, your devotion gets adulterated. Do not resort to such a course. Choose anyone and trust that God is in all. As the Gita says, Mamaivamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. The eternal Atma in all beings is a part of my being. Trust that God is in all, but if one keeps on changing from one God to another, it is false devotion. You should not change your allegiance. You should be firm in your faith. No matter what difficulties or whatever grief, you should get over them and go forward. That is true devotion. Many great souls had to go through such ordeals. What difficulties Meera and Sakubai did not go through, but they held themselves firm into their faith and never deviated from their chosen deities. Meera's husband, the Maharana himself, found fault with her and sent her out of the palace. Meera was taken by surprise for a very brief moment, but she recovered her composure very quickly. Consoling herself, she thought of going to the banks of Ganga and Yamuna. Swami rendered the bhajan in his divine voice, Chalore man Ganga Yamuna Thir. We have to develop such staunch devotion. Sankaracharya also taught in a similar way. He advised a wayside Brahmin against wasting his time learning by wrote some grammar rules and asked him instead to concentrate on the name of Govinda. You stupid fool, concentrate on worshipping Govinda, for when the time comes for Yama to call you, your rules of grammar will not come to your aid. So worship Govinda. All the teachings of these great personages are true and eternal. You should remember such teachings. If you keep changing from day to day, you will ruin your heart. have control over your wavering mind and deluding vision. This is the main trait of a true devotee. Worship God in any form or with any name. In fact, God has 1,000 names and a myriad forms. Ek Prabhu ke anek naam. The one Lord has many names. Worshipping the Lord with 1,000 names, you should be fully aware that it's a single divinity you are addressing. Rama, Krishna, Govinda, Allah, Jesus, etc. are all names denoting the same divinity. Hold this faith firmly in your heart and make your life worthwhile. Live ever in bliss. Happiness is union with God. Worldly connections only lead to pain and misery. Your life is shattered to bits. Several people come to me asking for peace. I tell them, son, peace is not outside. What you find outside are only pieces. You are the embodiment of peace. You are the embodiment of God. You are the embodiment of truth. And you are the embodiment of dharma, righteousness. When you are yourself the personification of peace, why are you looking for it outside? Follow your heart and you will reach your goal. Understand the unity of all Atmas. With that, your life will be sanctified. Man runs into several difficulties. Birth is a pain, living on earth is a worry, worldly life is a worry, death is a worry, youth is a worry, old age is another. Every inauspiciousness is worry. Your karma is your worry. Difficulties are another worry. Even happiness and wonder are worries. All these worries vanish when your mind is turned to God. It's a Telugu poem, Swami sings. If you dig a well by the side of the sea, you will get only brine. If you dig a well near Ganga, you will get pure water of the Ganges itself. When you have got the pure waters of Ganges flowing nearby, why do you waste your efforts by digging wells here and there? God is like the Ganga in floods. There's no need for any well anywhere. Be near God and be dear to Him and enjoy bliss. So Swami, as even in the previous excerpt, Swami says the drop of water on the hand is nothing compared to the ocean from which we pick up that water. We should merge in that ocean. So that is the call from Krishna to rise up to that stage where whatever we study, the Vedas or anything, becomes a pond, a small well. They are also needed until we enter the ocean and merge and become God. But we have to keep that as the goal of ours. This is where the Buddhi Yoga will take. The real Buddhi in any sadhana should teach us that the ultimate goal is God and merger in God. So these are the two verses which I thought we'll spend some time because they can be a bit confusing times. I hope it was okay for all of you. If there are any questions, please. Sairam, sister.
Just one small question here. In the verse, when you are reading the discourse, Swami said to keep the heart pure and empty. What is that really referred by empty here, please?
Yeah, so I think, sometimes in translation things get lost.
Translation? Okay, then fine.
So
Thank
what Swami says is generally our heart is filled with the world. First we have to empty it and God will fill it.
Okay.
The heart empty means the world has taken, they have entered into our heart. Our heart means our love for the world is too much. We love our family, our relations, the world, things and objects in the world. That has to be emptied.
Okay, got it.
That means the
Thank you.
world does not find any space there, as my understanding. I hope that answers. Silence. Yes, Kalyani.
Sorry, I think usually we understand this analogy of digging a well is to mean like choosing one name and form of God and digging deep to get water. And Swami kind of even spoke about that earlier with, you can't move a sapling here and there. But here, what is Swami really referring to with this analogy of the well?
So the thing is, I think the way I understand Kalyani, digging a well by the side of the sea, salty sea, is what we do in this world. So we are all trying to dig well in this world. And what we get is only salty water. It cannot really quench our thirst, nor can it give us joy. But which we call avidya maya, means, ignorant maya, which is going after the world. Digging a well near Ganges means go to something divine and dig, which is I would call vidya maya. So engaging in spiritual activities in the world can give us pure water. But one day we need to jump into the river. Because from the world, it's very difficult to jump into the river straight. So from digging the well in the world, we are digging the well in spirituality and thus prepare ourselves to one day jump into the river. So I hope that's what I understood. I hope it's okay.
Because when Swami's saying, why do you waste your efforts? It makes it seem like even the sadhana is a waste.
So it's the way I understand is, if you keep on digging multiple wells, you will not know to the depth. So when we dig a well, there's no water to start with. When dig, you come to a little bit of water. But the deeper you dig, that itself it can be all consuming. The springs will come and that itself can become a river. But we can't make that well a river if we dig in multiple places. This Swamiji, we read what Swami wrote, then we will read somebody else wrote. I think sometimes we distract ourselves. And Swami, what else can Swami say? He cannot say, read what I have studied, study what I have said. Our temptation to read all and sundry is so much that Swami says you'll be only digging wells, you will never merge. That's what I understand. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Saira. Yes, Sister Vani.
Sairam, brother. So in the previous verse, in the discourse, the Swami says that even in a family life, both husband and wife conduct themselves in the path of Dharma, they can reach moksha. And then, brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasi is like, one precedes the other, and it's only the sannyasi who can reach. It looks like what Swami says, even if you're grahastha, you can still attain moksha. Can you please clarify a little bit?
So, see, the thing is, the grihastha, if he travels, one day he will each sannyasa stage. So I think Swami does not want us to be discouraged. But in Sathya Sai he says, there are people in each of these states, one day suddenly they became merged with the Lord. So that's possible. So, sometimes when we say it's a sequential process, we think, it's such a long time, it's long effort. What Swami says is, if you actually be the perfect grihastha, you can right away merge in God also. The perfect grihastha means one who is again detached from the world, everything, follows dharma and has the goal of the eternal goal. So I think the transition through vanaprastha and sannyasa is essential, because without vairagya, Swami says jnanam will not happen. So even if you are in grihastha, if we attain vairagya, then jnana is instant. This is what Swami has described in Sandeha Nivarani. Because that's a question asked, can you cite examples from different ashramas who have attained Brahmajnana? That's the question. So in which Swami said there are examples. But such examples are very rare, sister. 1 in a million, I would say. But so the common man has to go through step by step, a krama, regular, step-by-step process to get to that stage, is my understanding. But it is, Swami says, it's not ruling out.
Okay, thank you. That's how, I understood before. Now, once I read this, kind of referred to as, you could still possible.
It's
but
possible.
Of course,
Yes.
for common man, it's hard. Yeah.
Okay, Sairam. So generally, even those people who have reached that stage in one life, they have gone through lots of sadhana and maturity in their previous lifetimes. If we had that merit, I'm sure wherever we can, that's what Swami, that assurance Swami is giving. That's the way I understand. Okay. So if everyone's okay, we can close the session with Samastaloka prayer, and we will meet next Saturday. Saira. Om
Morning.
Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.